guys, welcome to the third episode of the Danso Financial Podcast. My name is Anwar Cannon. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Danso Financial Group. And today I'm right here with my man and business partner, Ramy Ibrahim. How's it going, Ramy?
What's up, Anwar? I'm so excited to be back here filming our next episode, man. It's been a while. I see your beard's grown. My beard's grown a little bit since then. Some things have changed.
Listen, man, I'm trying, man, But it's a pleasure to have you here, man. I like the enthusiasm, definitely.
I'm excited, man. What are we getting into today?
Today, the episode is actually titled The Laws of Success. And it's based off of the book, The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill, in which he talks about the 16 laws that he actually think make successful leaders. And Napoleon Hill also wrote a lot of books that we'll get into later on with Ramy. But so just to give you guys an idea of what this podcast will be about, we have condensed all those 16 laws into our own laws that we think we can personally relate to in this day and age. And we really know that you guys will definitely have a lot of takeaways from it and enjoy it, all right? Now, Ramy, why don't you kick it off with?
Yeah, as we said, this book was published in the early 1900s and had a lot of really, important points that could help anybody become successful. Yeah. And we kind of curated our best list for you guys. So we're going to start it off with today's first law, which is to have a definite purpose. Definite purpose meaning you got to lay out your goals. You got to know what you're in this game for, what you're in this life for. You always got to know what you're hunting for. Otherwise, you're just going to be walking down an aimless path.
Definitely right, man. I like that, man.
I feel like any successful business person, any venture that you're in needs to know their goals and firmly write it down. When I work with my personal trainer sometimes at the gym, he always tells me, you got to write down your goals for the week or for the month or for the year,
Absolutely.
Whatever it is. And not give up on them like a New Year's resolution.
Very important, man. That New Year's resolution.
So that's what definite purpose means. You just got to know your goals and know what you're in this life or your particular task for.
Yeah, that's a great answer, man. Definitely write down your goals, guys. Very important thing. It affects your subconscious. It puts everything in your mind, and it just makes you focus every single time without you even realizing that you're being focused most of the time.
So, Anwar, when we talk about, definite purpose and having that in your mind at all times, is there anybody that you think, really exemplified that people would know of, that really stuck with their goals to the end?
Hey, man, I got these two people right off the top of my head. I got Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. And Ramy, the reason why I'm actually talking about these two guys is because these guys actually sacrificed their lives for what they believed in. Never have they once doubted their vision of what they wanted for society and what they wanted for the future of their compatriots, African-American people living in the United States. So these people have fought throughout their whole lives to give us the privileges that we have today.
Correct. No, some of the best leaders that we've ever heard about or read about in our history books have, stuck true to their purpose. The Gandhis, the Martin Luther Kings,
Definitely.
The Michael Jordans, all these people that, we really look up to, they stuck with their purpose.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. And one more thing about having a definite purpose is that you cannot really go far in life if you don't have a purpose. I know we haven't really made it anywhere in life yet, but we're pretty sure that this is something that you have to have a definite purpose. From the books that we read about success, the classes you take in school, the life events that you go through. If you don't have a purpose, you're just not going to have that motivation to go through and pursue your goals. It's simple.
You're right, man. But once you write down your goals, once you have that on your vision board, on your goals, you got to have something else, which is going to lead us into our second law of success. You got to have that self-confidence. You got to have that belief in yourself that you can achieve everything you want to achieve. And that's our second law, self-confidence.
I like that, man.
What do you have to say about self-confidence, Anwar? You seem to be a pretty self-confident guy.
Listen, man, I'll take that as a compliment. But yeah, man, to me, self-confidence is something that's very, very important. especially in this generation. You know, a generation that we live in, a lot of people want to bring you down. They want to test you. You know, like they just want to take advantage of you if they see that you're someone who's always peaceful and stuff, staying out of trouble. So you gotta have self-confidence in everything that you do, because if you don't believe in yourself, why will other people believe in you? Just think about it. So I actually do have someone in mind for self-confidence, man. Someone who actually revolutionized the world, we can say.
Not me.
Come on, man. I'm thinking about Steve Jobs, man.
Ooh,
The Apple master, bro. Like Steve
the
Jobs,
Apple master.
Steve Jobs literally changed the world. Like, think about it. This guy started his company, was fired from his own company, then came back and literally changed the world, as I said. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit about why I chose Steve Jobs as someone who really portrays self-confidence. All right? So,
For those of you that don't know, I'm sorry, Steve Jobs is, one of the previous CEO of Apple. Some people might not know Steve Jobs, bro.
the
You
founder
never know.
and CEO.
Founder, CEO of Apple, which
Yep.
very recently, became one of the biggest market cap companies in the world by hitting $1 trillion. So think
Huge,
about that.
bro.
His company that he was fired from recently just hit
Huge.
$1 trillion in market value.
Yeah.
So tell us how his self-confidence helped that happen.
Well, first of all, Steve Jobs actually dropped out of college, like many great people today, which tells you that you don't necessarily need college to be successful, but that's a whole other topic we can talk about, all right? But so this man dropped out of Stanford University, which is a very expensive school, one of the best schools in the country, after like a few months, because he literally said that he didn't see value in it. Like the classes he was taking, he didn't really see how it was helping him move forward. And he also didn't have an idea of what he wanted to do with his life. So this man dropped out, started sleeping literally in his friends' dorm floors. He was collecting bottles, putting them in the machines for 5 cents just to get something to eat. Like, think about that, man. Like, he literally risked it all just because he didn't see the purpose in it, and he didn't really believe in whatever he was learning. And just to go and struggle. And also, he has a quote that I'm actually gonna read for you guys. He said, "You have to believe that things will be all good in the future." Because believing that the dots will actually connect in the future later on will give you the confidence that you need to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference. So he's literally talking about how self-confidence and just believing in your vision can bring you a long way in life. And I mean, he said it and he proved it. So it definitely works if you ask me.
You're definitely right. No, I agree. You got to tie in the first law with the second law, which is purpose, and then believing in yourself. As you said, belief, confidence in your goal. You got to believe you can get there. Because if nobody else is going to believe in your vision more than yourself. And you guys always have to remember that. Strive to be the best you can be. Living my best life. You got to embody that. So that brings us to our third topic. Our third law.
What's that?
Our third law today is initiative and leadership. And by that, initiative is having the capability to take action. It is not being complacent and not be stagnant.
Spit that knowledge, man. Let them get it.
I'm getting into it. Initiative, man. You need initiative to be able to set out and do anything that you want to do. Once you know your purpose, once you have the confidence that you can achieve that goal, you got to take the initiative, which symbolically would be that first step. Initiative is that first step, and taking that step into that unknown path, that nobody else has ventured off into. That's what initiative is. And leadership, needless to say, you got to have people around you that believe in you as well, because nothing in this life can be achieved alone. And I feel like that people say they've made it on their own. realistically somebody has helped them along that way.
Absolutely.
The path is never like an isolated one. So what do you think about initiative and leadership?
Hey, I mean, you definitely said everything there needed to be said about that, man. I don't know what else to add, but I'll just say that, like, you have to take initiative in life if you want to get somewhere. Like, you can't just always be a follower. It's not bad to follow people sometimes, but you can't always base your life off of what other people are doing. You gotta know what you want to do, and you gotta go for it. You gotta have the courage to go for it, as you said.
You can take notes from other people. You can maybe idolize somebody and take notes on them, but you can't just follow their exact path, because it guarantee you following the exact path of somebody else will always lead you to a different destination.
Absolutely. And I also like the fact that you touched upon how leadership is very important when you're working with other people and you're leading a team, because you would be surprised how much you can learn from people that you're leading, people that are actually under you. Like, just by paying attention to the things that they're telling you, just by paying attention to their suggestions, it could bring you a long way.
No, I definitely agree.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is, like, when I see these big companies actually flourishing and stuff, I mean, the founder and CEO, he's the one who started it and stuff. He's the one at the top. But I think the real heroes are those that, like, go to work every day, put in like 40, 50 hours a week, and don't even get
no credit
of what the CEO gets, man. The CEO could come in like what?
Might be 2 hours a day, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
They're handling different things, but to get up and go about your journey, knowing that others are in different points in their life is hard. But that initiative to keep on going down the path is really important. And leadership, again, people have to know that you came from the same place as them, or have at least known the same kind of struggles as them before they will respect you, maybe.
Absolutely.
That's why you gotta be reachable, or at least be able to rally the people around you, and they'll never do that if they think you're above them. You know what I mean? So it's really a sensitive balance of being a leader and being a boss.
I like that.
Not every boss is a leader, and that's a fact. And you'll see that in different jobs you come across in your life. There are some that'll really be like, this guy makes me want to work hard, and this guy pays me my checks, and I don't care about him. So there's a lot of things to be said about that, but I really like some of the people you've mentioned have all embodied all of these things so far, have they not?
Absolutely. Every single one of them.
But something we haven't talked about yet, which might bring us to our next law, is that all of these people and everybody in life, failure, that is our next law of success. Which you might think, how can failure be a part or a law of success? That's kind of a contradiction. But everybody needs failure to be able to learn and to be able to take notes on how to improve themselves. Because if everything is a win, everything is a easy win, you'll just keep doing the same things forever and you'll never change. Growth comes through failure. Yes.
That was hilarious. But
I had to think like,
But as you said, man, failure, I mean, you learn from failure. And I don't even like to think of it as failure. I just like to think of it as like a minor setback, like, for a major comeback, basically.
Like a timeout.
Exactly.
When nothing's clicking for you in a game or in some kind of sport, you call a timeout, you gather yourself. That's a failure. You're taking time, collect yourself, your wits, get back out there.
Yeah, like you're basically refueling yourself. That's what it is. Because if you experience failure, it's basically because there's something that you're not doing right. And the fact that you're experiencing failure, that's actually better than leading you on down the wrong path. You thinking that you're doing the right thing, and then maybe a few years later realizing that you were riding the wrong wave the wrong entire time. You know how bad that hurts, man? But we got to be thankful for failure, because failure opens your eyes. It tells you this did not work. This is what you need to change about it. And usually after failure, people bounce back harder than ever.
Yeah. I mean, that's the point of failing, man. You gotta, if you just take a failure and accept it and don't learn from it, then you're gonna fail again. But if every time you fail, you make a little note, an adjustment, a tweak, eventually you're gonna get the perfect recipe. You know, that there's been so many famous or successful people that have talked about some major setback or some huge failure in their life. If you guys have ever listened to this man Gary V, Gary Vaynerchuk,
Gary V.
I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of him by now because he's like super viral at this current time.
If you're on Instagram, you're not following Gary V, man,
you should get on that.
What are you doing?
I feel like especially for anyone, but younger people.
For anyone.
Younger people, I feel people, out of college or, in their 30s that are really like, I'm still young enough to do whatever I want to do, but I don't know what I want to do. Gary Vee always says,
absolutely,
nothing matters. You just got to go out there and do it. Nobody wants to put in that work ethic and fail, because then they'll feel like almost less worthy of it. But instead, you're supposed to fail and come back more hungry for it, and just every time become more and more hungry until it's impossible that you're not going to reach your goals.
Right. Yeah.
So definitely check out Gary Vee because he has a lot of gems. Definitely.
And one more thing I wanted to add to that is just the fact that if you've never failed, then your dreams are probably not big enough. Michael Jordan. Everybody knows Michael Jordan, like in the history of
Flight Man
of the NBA. Yeah, Flight Man, as you said. So that man actually missed more shots than you can ever imagine. But he was a legend. Why? Because he didn't quit, and he failed so many times to a point where he couldn't fail no more. I actually do want to mention one guy, Jeff Bezos.
Ooh,
the Amazon, the legend, man.
You got the CEOs on lock today, I see. Tell us about Jeff Bezos, who is the CEO of Amazon at this current time.
All right, so the reason why I'm bringing up Jeff Bezos is basically because this is a guy of action, which is actually one of the laws of success in the book. And this guy, man, he was literally, a lot of people don't know this, but he was literally the youngest senior vice president at a Wall Street firm before he started Amazon. Let that sink in for a minute. The youngest senior VP at a Wall Street firm. And then this guy decides to quit his job against his boss's advice to start his own company, Amazon. Isn't that incredible, man?
I bet as a senior VP at a Wall Street firm that man must have been making millions or like, super amounts of money at that time. And if what you're telling me is really true, that means I'm saying he walked away from a couple million, like right then and there. To walk away from a couple $1 million to an uncertain future. You don't know what he's going to do at that point. He might have had an idea, a purpose, but he had no idea where he was going with that.
Yeah, it was a big risk for him to just quit that job and decide to start his own company, especially when your boss, you're already a senior VP, and
that means your boss likes you.
Above you, that guy must be making millions for sure, and he's successful, and he tells you do not quit, and you still decide to quit. But there's one reason why he quit. He didn't just blindly quit, and that's very important. That's actually the next step that I'm gonna get into. He actually quit because he was able to identify a trend. Identifying a trend is pretty big when you want to be an entrepreneur in this day and age. What do you got to say about that, man?
I mean, I'm curious to hear more about that, but no, you for any business, you gotta identify a need, a trend, a niche market, whatever you want to call it, and chase after it. I'm like, as you said, he didn't just leave with nothing in mind. Yeah. That would be a true act of madness if you leave a big paying job or any job to do nothing or to have nothing at that time to pay your bills. Yeah. It's unheard of. But all these people, Bezos, Steve Jobs, all these people that went on to be multimillionaires or billionaires, a lot of them quit their jobs or left college, stuff that people tell you are going to result in nothing. You're going to be nothing at that point.
Absolutely.
False.
Yep. And basically, this man quit because he identified the trend that at that time the use of the internet was growing by 2,300% a month. 2,300% a month. That's how much people are using the internet.
Wow.
Every month. And I mean, hey, that's a heck of a good reason to quit your job and start your own thing.
I mean, I'm sure this was in the 90s, I'm sure, back when everybody was on that dial-up internet, you know, that AOL loading symbol, you know.
Dead, man. But what we getting into next, man? I'm excited for this, man.
All right, so the next one that we want to talk about when, you know, you're trying to become a success story, the next law is to perform more service than what your customers are paying for. You're always going to want to go above and beyond for your clients, for your customers, whoever's paying your bills. You want to keep them happy. You want them to talk about you to other people and spread the good word.
Right.
A lot of business happens by a referral or good word of mouth, good publicity, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. So it really takes a lot to get people to go out of their way and use their breath to talk about Anwar's great business or my great business. They don't have to. Yep. So you got to perform more services than what they're paying you. If they pay you to make one page for $50, a one-page essay, you better give them a page and a half. That'll make them happy. They didn't pay for that. You know, it's really a simple concept. You give more than what you receive, and people will always reciprocate that energy, or they should.
Yeah, man. Nah, you're definitely right about that, Ramy. Thank you for the explanation. And yeah, it's just in general. Anything you do in life, you always wanna overachieve, I would say, or at least try to.
Or pay it forward, as some people like to say.
Yep, pay it forward. It's very important because it makes you a better person. Mm-hmm. Like, think about it. Like, for example, a simple example. You're going to the gym every day. Let's say you're thinking about, oh, today I'm going to do 100 push-ups. Try to do 103. And then see by next week. If your goal for next week was to get 110, you could probably do 115 next week. And you can use that mindset in all walks of life.
It's really simple in terms of it doesn't have to be large. Like, it doesn't have to be a great big increase in what they're asking for. But even just doing it with a smile or a compliment when you do it, something very simple, like giving them a smile when your job is done, changes everything. They will remember you in kinder regards, and they will want to see you succeed. And that, again, is huge. And especially in this day and age, when I'd say if you wanted to find somebody to do a job, you can reach your hand out and find 10 people that want to do that job for you. Especially with all these apps.
A lot of competition.
It's not hard to find somebody to do your job, but it's hard to find somebody that will go above and beyond for you.
The right person for your team, basically.
So if you can be that extra mile for someone, believe me, you don't have to. But then when you do it, people that come after him or that he talks to about bringing you more business that you would not have had beforehand. So that's definitely something you want to embody to be successful.
True that, definitely. And I'll actually take the lead on this last law of success.
Oh man, we're already here?
Yeah, man, it's been pretty quick, but it was great, man. Really enjoyed it. This one is enthusiasm and attractive personality. This one is very important. You always have to show enthusiasm in whatever you're doing. I understand, a lot of people have a job that they hate. You might be thinking about 10,000 different things when you're doing a job that you don't like. But you got to be enthusiastic, man, or at least try to be enthusiastic, because that can bring you a long way. Trying something actually affects your subconscious mind. And even when you're not happy, convincing yourself that you are enthusiastic, whatever you do, you actually start feeling happy just by trying to convince yourself that you are. And I'm thinking about two people, man. Enthusiasm and attractive personality. I'll talk about Mr. Obama, man. I miss you, Mr. President. Hope everything great. But I brought up this guy because, do you ever watch Obama speak? Like, the whole room is silent. Like, literally, like, you been listening to this guy, like, having goosebumps and shit. Like, Like, yo,
definitely
like,
has
I'm
a-
really feeling this in my body, like right now. Like, what's going on?
He has a really good mannerism when speaking that, you know, you can tell he's very well spoken.
Yeah, like the charisma.
Yep.
Like, this man could have an entire room extremely silent, just looking at him, like just listening to what he's saying.
No, seriously, if you do anything with enthusiasm, you will have better results than by doing it quietly or than by doing it very subtly. You know,
Right.
people respond as like people aren't always happy, or people around you could be having their own struggles that you don't know about. So by you or me doing something with enthusiasm and having a personality that makes me want to smile,
Right.
you're making everybody around you better, or at least more positive minded, and that is infinitely valuable, I feel. As you said, Obama.
I like that term,
and-
man. Infinitely valuable.
That's what, you know,
That's
we're trying as hosts of this podcast, we're trying to be enthusiastic
Yep.
about whatever we talk about, or, you know, and then we try to embody that in real life, but we all know that we're not always going to be in a great mood, but it is important
Yeah.
that you at least portray a positive mindset to everyone. As you said, if convincing, even when you're in a bad mood, convincing yourself that, you know, I'm happy today, I can do whatever I want, will help others see that vision as well.
Definitely, man. I like that. And all right, guys. So we're here. This is the ending.
We're here at the end
of
of
the third episode of the Danso Financial Podcast.
You
the
know,
laws of success.
These episodes are starting to, you know, pile up a little bit.
Right.
I hope you
right.
guys have been enjoying the episode so far. Again, this is episode 3, the law of success. But in the coming episodes, we really are going to try to start putting some emphasis on bringing on some real life entrepreneurs that might be on their, anybody that has their own entrepreneurial venture, their own business. You can come on our show and maybe talk a little bit about it, some of the stuff we've talked about in our past episodes, and really enlighten our audience on how you've made it work, or
Right.
what you do that might work. Right, Anwar? We're taking all businesses.
Absolutely, man. Any type of business you are, if you feel like you really want to be successful and you really believe in your vision, contact us on Instagram.
Yep.
At Danso Financial Group. You can email us, danzofinancialgroup@gmail.com. If you know one of us, don't hesitate to please reach
Hit
out,
us up.
because we want as many entrepreneurs as possible to come on this podcast right here and lay out what they think is going to help
Right.
the millennials.
We
and
want to
the
hear
ones
your
that's
laws of
coming
success.
after us. Exactly. We want to hear your laws of
Everybody
success.
has their own
As my
tweaks
man
on it.
said.
So again, if you want to be on our show, even for a brief moment, or to drop some knowledge on us, feel free to hit us up. Keep tuning into the Danso Financial Podcast.
I got one more thing to say, actually.
What's up?
So, our next episode is actually going to be the first episode that we have an entrepreneur come in. It's going to be called The Power of Branding. That's all I'm going to say.
Sneak
all right?
peek, sneak peek.
That's all we're going to say.
Hush, hush.
All right.
So now you know what's on store for next week. Everybody tune in, and we really appreciate you guys listening to us. Anwar, thanks for having.
It's my pleasure, Ramy.
All right, everybody, have a good night.
Have a good one.